Okay, it's midday, February 2nd, 2011. The town of Cardwell has been evacuated, and we are evacuating too. We are heading south to Ingham, with the possibility of pulling it south even further to Townsville if need be. So that's the plan at the moment, and we'll see where we go from here.
The Premier has again warned North Queensland communities to brace for a life-threatening event.
And as you go through here, this is the main town of Cardwell, and it is completely been abandoned. Over to the left here is the ocean, which could be forecast to actually come up to 6 metres above the current level. So all these areas will be going underwater with storm surge, also possibly sustaining the eye of the storm and winds up to 300 kilometres per hour, and possibly 1,000 millimetres of rain. So good luck, Cardwell. Hopefully we'll come back and see you shortly. Hopefully no one dies that hasn't evacuated.
More than 2,000 people are in a shopping centre in the city's south, and hundreds of others have sought shelter at evacuation centres at schools. Brad Ryan, ABC News, Cairns.
There are actually people that have not evacuated that are in potential flood zones, and if they do not evacuate, I fear that we will be hearing about deaths. So I'm hoping that in the next couple of hours, as this weather starts to ramp up, they will see the signs and get out. Okay, so we've got some pretty strong winds going on here at the moment. I can feel quite a lot of drag on the car as these winds are hitting head on, nose on the vehicle. These winds will probably drop off as soon as this rain band actually clears. You can probably hear and see there's quite a lot of heavy rain in this at the moment, even though it's actually quite light looking up in the sky. So this is our travel down the Bruce Highway to Ingham.
It's continued its west-south-west track, and it's moving at around about 30 kilometres per hour. The key messages are that it's obviously still a very large and powerful tropical cyclone, and poses an extremely serious threat along the tropical coast, but particularly between about Cairns and Townsville. At this stage, we're expecting the cyclone to continue moving in a west-south-westerly direction for the remainder of today into tonight, and it's expected to cross the coast in around about that Innisfail area, or perhaps just to the south of Innisfail, at around about midnight. And when we say around about midnight, the current indications are that it could be just before, so perhaps anywhere from about 11:30 onwards. So basically the main messages are that we are expecting obviously an extremely dangerous rise in the sea levels as the cyclone approaches, particularly to the south of the crossing point, and you know, those high elevated waves extending right down towards you know, virtually the central coast area to Whitsundays as well, where they can be experiencing extremely damaging waves and strong currents and flooding of low-lying areas, and that will extend some way inland as well. We are starting to see damaging wind gusts along the coast, North Tropical coast at the moment, with the reef obs offshore are already indicating certainly above damaging winds, even getting into the sort of virtually destructive wind range out offshore. So eventually we'll see those destructive winds come onto the coastal areas later on today and this evening, and then the very destructive winds associated with the core of the cyclone will come onto the coast late tonight.
All right. So at this stage, really, we're talking about, what, a couple of hours before the onset of severe weather along the coast?
That's right. Well, we're starting to see just those damaging winds. So once you start to see damaging winds, and certainly those winds are starting to become severe. But certainly the destructive winds and very destructive winds are expected more so late this afternoon and into the evening. And then obviously as the centre of the cyclone approaches, that's when you get into the very extreme sort of winds nearer the centre. As we know, would be aware, the centre appeared to go over our meteorological office at Willis Island, and winds through there certainly were quite high, with wind gusts up to around about were recorded up to around 185 kilometres per hour, but that was before the site was knocked off the air. So basically we are expecting wind gusts anywhere up to about 300 kilometres per hour right near the centre of the cyclone.